Great. Do they tell a lot of jokes in Japan, or are they all very serious in Toastmasters?
We don't have the joke master in Toastmasters in Japan. So I've
Ah.
never heard of this before. So I think it is really interesting.
Okay. For the next part of the meeting, we're going to go into our speeches. Tonight, I have the privilege of introducing the first speaker, Jonathan Shapiro. He's speaking from Engaging Humor Level 3. Engage your audience with humor. Timer, it's a 5 to 7 minute speech. The speech title is Sticky, Screwy, and Buggy. Funny stories about being a computer technician at Computer Care Associates. In 19 years, I've accumulated humorous, ridiculous, and sad stories. This is my final speech in level 3 of Engaging Humor. Let's welcome Jonathan to the virtual stage.
I own Computer Care Associates in Framingham. Our customers prefer a break-fix model. Does anybody know what a break-fix model is? It's you fix it, you break it, and we fix it. After 19 years of dealing with computer issues, boy, do we have stories for you. However, I only have about 7 minutes, so I can't do all of the stories. I have 2 stories tonight. The first story is a sticky situation. And it's sort of, the second story is about a farm. And boy, that bugs the heck out of me. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests. I have the first story I want to talk about is a sticky keyboard situation. A customer comes into my office. They had a few too much to drink. Well, actually, they had cognac. They spilled cognac on their keyboard. Unfortunately, when you spill cognac on your keyboard, it's a sticky situation. Now, this customer remoted in to the United Kingdom. They did not want to send the laptop back to their company. She was so afraid if she did, the place would know that she's a party animal. She didn't want them to know that. So she came into our office. She was very upset. She was almost in tears. Oh, can you help me? My keyboard is sticky. Well, he said to them, well, we'll have to replace your whole keyboard. And we did. We sent away for the keyboard. We installed the keyboard. Now the customer is happy. They're all smiles. They leave our office. Now the second story has to do with a farm. And this is a buggy situation. They have 9 computers there. This is think about it. Farms and computers just don't go together. You have a lot of the farm winds blow the soil into the computers. The computer people who use the computers wear boots, and the boots are muddy. Now, what I was doing is I was trying to fix the computers. I first worked on the inside of the computer. I was scanning, I was doing everything. Nothing really helped. I decided to look inside the computer to see what was going on. I opened the computer. I brought my trusty duster with me. Guess what I found? I found a spider's web. Little spiders running around made me so hangry. I looked, I went a few times. Oh, it's an earthworm, a big, juicy earthworm. That made me even hangrier. Now, the supervisor in the office saw how hard I was working on these computers. She came over to me. She asked me, "How are the computers?" With a straight face, I said to her, I got all the bugs out of them. There are bugs in the operating system, the hardware. Let me ask you something. Do you know where the term buggy came from? It came from when a computer operator was working on a computer and there was a moth inside of it. And that moth was causing problems in the computer. So this computer programmer was able to get the moth out of the computer. And she sent an email back to the supervisor. And she said, "I debugged the computer." So the supervisor said, "Great, I'm glad you debugged the computer." So that's where the term came from. Now let me wrap these things up a little bit. The first story I gave was about a very sticky situation. Never drink cognac near a computer. Because if you spill it on the keyboard, you're probably going to end up wanting a new keyboard. Now the second situation was a very buggy situation on the farm. I had to open up about 9 computers. I had to spray them out. I saw spiders. I saw earthworms. Who knows what else was in there. Now let me tell you about the present situation with the coronavirus. We have very limited house visits. We hardly visit anybody. We don't really visit businesses. We have curbside drop-off. People call, we write down the information. Now, in the past, we would have them come in, sit on the conference room table. They would talk about the computer. We would be very relaxed. We can't do that anymore. So what we do is they beep their horn, we go outside, pick up the computer, fix it, bring it back out to them. Sticky, screwy, and buggy. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Evaluate that. So could we please welcome Judy?
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Daphne. Yes, I had the pleasure tonight of evaluating John's speech. The purpose of the speech was to determine the style of humor that best works for them and apply that to a speech that centers around a central message. There were a lot of positives in John's speech. First of all, when he opened, he captured our attention right away. First of all, with his title. And then when he actually was giving his speech, he stood up. I thought that was great. He smiled and he grabbed us with a question for us. You know, do we have something about computer problems? So I thought that was awesome. I also thought he used a lot of clever, humorous lines. Specifically, he mentioned, "Do we have stories for you?" I love the way he said that. And farm and computers don't go together. And he was also able to literally get the bugs out of one of his customers. So I thought those were very, very clever lines. He also used props and gestures, the liquor bottle and the tools that he used, that spray can. I thought those were great to bring up. He held them up long enough, but not too long to become distracting. So I thought he did a great job on that. And I also liked how he moved in close to the monitor when he was illustrating what the sticky keyboard owner was confiding in him or talking about with his keyboard. So I thought that was very effective to come in close to the monitor. A couple gifts. I guess I would have liked it if you had switched the order of your speech conclusion. So what you had done is you gave us advice, which sort of wrapped up your stories on, what not to do with the, keyboards and things like that. And then you followed up with a COVID story. I would have reversed that. I would have started with the COVID story if you wanted to tell that. I didn't feel that that was necessarily part of you needed to tell that, but I thought that that was, if you wanted to do that was fine. But I thought you really wanted to end your speech with, the advice that you had given us and that illustrated how it works and doesn't work. I think that would have left us, with clear points of your stories and left us with happy reminders of your speech. So that's one thing I would recommend. Another thing, I just want to check on my time here. Where is Sarah? I don't see Sarah. Oh, there she is. Okay. I'm doing okay. Thanks, Sarah. Another recommendation is I had trouble hearing your conclusion to story 1. So what I heard was something about there being a happy customer. I guess I would recommend, and maybe you did this and I just missed it, that you sort of bring the story back to drinking while doing computer work or something like that, something to bring it back to your opening of that story 1. And you did a wonderful job on story number 2, where you ended the story with talking about the bugs and how you had told your boss that you had gotten the bugs out, and that was both literal and figuratively humorous. So I thought that was an awesome job on conclusion for that story. So John clearly sees the humor in his work. He did a great job of sharing a couple stories with us that we can all relate to. We can all relate to keyboard issues and computer problems. So I thought that was awesome. And certainly a humorous story like John gave us can take the edge off of our hanger. Turn it back to you, Madam Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Judy. That was a really great review of an evaluation, really, of Jonathan's speech. Jonathan's speech was very enjoyable and a lot of humor in there that I appreciated as well. If you notice, Judy did the sandwich method of evaluating. She mentioned some of the positive things about John's speech. She gave some gifts in the middle that Jonathan can look at and say, do I agree with that? And how can I better my speech by utilizing those gifts that Judy gave me? And then she finished up with some positive comments and a little call to action. So thank you very much. That was really a great example of a nice evaluation. Our next evaluator is Judy Artley, and Judy is going to be evaluating our second speaker, Sherry Raftery-Patton, who did a speech on mentoring from the Dynamic Leadership Level 2 of Toastmasters. And let's welcome Judy.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests,